Jean Borisenko said, "A mystic sees beyond the illusion of separateness into the intricate web of life in which all things are expressions of a single whole." You can call this web God, the Tao, the Great Spirit, the infinite mystery, Mother or Father, but it can be known only as love. We were talking about perfection and imperfection this month, and today we're talking about perfect love. And you might say, well, how could you love anyone perfectly? How could that be? How can anything be perfect? And you also might say, how can you love some people and some groups of people and some things? How can you love them even though they're so imperfect? Well, in mixed thought, when we're talking about perfection and imperfection, we're really talking about different levels, different dimensions, actually. In the third dimension, we have perfection and we have imperfection. For instance, you could say, oh, there's a crack in that sidewalk. It's imperfect. You could say, oh, that person mispronounced a word. They pronounced it imperfectly. You could say, I tried to love someone, but it really wasn't the best I could have done. So that was imperfect. You could say those things. But in the spiritual dimension, in this other dimension that we talk about, there is only perfection. Everything is perfect. Everything. And you might say, well, how is that? And simple logic will get you there. God is everything. God is perfect. Therefore, everything is perfect. Everything is perfect. Dr. Sue Morter says this: perfection is what is. What is exactly as it should be, or it would be something else. What was said was perfect, or it would have been something else that was said. What was done was perfection, or something else would have occurred. Allow perfection to be what is. Work with life from that place. The invitation is to work with my mind to perceive the perfection in each moment, thereby training my mind to serve the soul. See, the invitation is to come at this from the point of the soul, because really that's the only thing that's real. The soul, that's the only thing that actually is totally whole, perfect, and complete. Everything else is temporal. So you might say, okay, well, if everything is so perfect, then why are we talking about perfect love? We could just talk about love and it would already be perfect. Well, we're talking about perfect love because there's so many ways that love is used these days. And what I'm talking about, what we're going to be delving into today, is about this greater love, this spiritual essence of love. And the way that we use the word love a lot these days are things like, oh, I love that hat. Or there, of course, is the one, oh, I love chocolate. And then what what's on the name of one of the puzzles I received this week is I love baseball. So there are all these different ways that we say we love things. But those are really preferences. There are things that may be pleasing to us. Now we get a little closer to this greater love, this perfect love, when we say things like, I love my family, or I love my dog and my little kitty cat. That's getting closer. But really, what we're talking about with this perfect love is more like it's what is ethereal. It's a sense of the sacred. It's that which is rare, holy, divine. That sense. It's see, the thing about loving is that it's not a mental preference or a mental exercise. It's not something on your to-do list, love mother today. It's not that. And you what you may have heard love isn't, you may have heard that love is not a feeling. But I'll say today that love is a feeling because love is an energy. It's a vibration. It's a vibration which we can feel. In fact, we want to feel it often. We want to feel that vibration living and running in, up and down through our bodies as often as we can think about it. See, the reason is this. Before we ever come into this earthly plane, we're just energy, kind of loose energy, no form to us at all. And we decide we're going to come to the plane, this plane. Well, we have to compress that energy to get down into something that's physical. That's all physical matter is. It's just compressed energy. So when we make that decision to come, the first compression is the vibration of love. Do you see how fundamental that is to who we are? This essence of love, it's in our bones, it's in our cells. It's what we're made up of. And that's why it feels so good when we love. It's like we're coming home to that spiritual essence that we really are. So feeling that vibration is key. And in this talk today, that's really what I'm wishing, I'm inviting each of you to do is to be able to feel the vibration of love, to feel it all the way through your body. So in order to do this today, a lot of times I have exercise and breathing, but today I'm going to be reading some readings, some Sufi readings. Now, Sufis are mystics. They come from the Islamic tradition, and they are devoted to the presence. They are so devoted to God and to love. It's all that they're about. You might have read things like this in Rumi and Hafiz. They're just so devoted. They even see God as their lover. They're so devoted to this presence and to experiencing the presence, not thinking about the present, experiencing the presence fully. So there's an example that I want to read. This is just an example of some of the readings. This is from a book called Love is a Fire by Llewellyn Vaughan Lee. And in it, they're talking about the kiss of God. See, as if it's a lover. Once we realize that we are so valuable in God's eyes, then we have to take responsibility for our own true value and can no longer live as victims of life, no longer hide from ourselves. We're so valuable in his eyes because we carry the remembrance of him, his stamp within our heart. We carry the memory of the kiss of our beloved. And his love calls us to live this kiss, a kiss that is more precious than our own self. The price is to give everything, even ourself, for the kiss of the beloved. This is a lover's commitment, and it is given gladly because we know the wonder of his touch, the intoxicating beauty of his presence. Do you feel the love within those statements, within the way in which the Sufis look upon God, look upon the presence? You're going to notice, of course, that in their talk, in the ways they write, that and in what they see, it sounds to us in New Thought like they're talking about separation, because they're talking about God being a kind of a separate being in a way, that they're yearning for God. And in New Thought, of course, we know that we are the presence, that we're not all that the presence is, but all that we are is presence. So we don't speak of God outside of us. So if you would, in these readings, just realize that what the Sufis are talking about, they're really talking about coming home. They're talking about union. They're talking about that place where they are so um, encompassed with the presence that really there is no separation. So it's like we're talking about the same thing. They have they have a slightly different way to do it, but just feel, just get to the point to feel in these readings that I'm going to give several longer readings today. Feel that that we're really all talking about coming home to ourselves, about recognizing that essence of life and love that we are. So I've categorized these these readings, these areas of love, these dimensions of love, these directions for love. I've categorized them into 3 areas, and I have an acronym for the 3 areas because I like acronyms. So the acronym for today is PSA. It's like public service announcement. So you can think of it as this is your public service announcement for love today. Now, the P stands for the present. Love the presence. Love the presence. And this reading is also from the book Love is a Fire by Llewellyn Vaughan Lee. Love's call. And I invite you in each of these readings to even shut your eyes and just feel love, feel the love they're talking about, feel it within your own beingness. Love's call draws us inward to where the music of the soul can be heard. Our work is to listen, to become attuned to love, and to hear the secret song of the soul amidst the distractions of the outer world. Learning to listen is to open ourselves to what is most natural, to the heart's call to prayer. Returning within oneself, we find that prayer is a natural state of being that has been hidden from us. We feel the grace and joy of looking towards God, of being part of the great whole of creation that praises the presence. We take our true place in the circle of life and love. Once we hear the muezzin within our heart calling us to prayer, singing the eternal song of He loves them and they love Him, we need to follow this call. We need to catch the thread of our own devotion. The prayer of the heart needs not just to be lived in the inner recesses of our heart, but to infuse itself into our daily life so that what has been hidden is brought into consciousness. Every atom of creation praises God. Every cell is infused with divine remembrance. This is the bond of love that holds the world together. It is the hidden axis of creation. He gave us the gift of consciousness so that we could remember, so that we could bring the hidden knowledge of the heart into the light of day. In the depths of the heart, we know Him. But through our acts of devotion, we can make this knowledge conscious and so fulfill our deepest purpose. P stands for presence, loving the presence, listening to that voice of the presence in the heart, and then following through with acts of devotion. The S in our PSA of love stands for the self. We want to love the self. Now, I will say, in looking at this, sometimes we think of loving ourselves as, oh, I'm going to go book myself a massage. And I'm not poo-pooing that. I love my massages. um, but when we're talking about the self with the Sufis, they talk about removing everything within their being, within themselves, that is not focused on the love of the present. So this reading also from the book Love is a Fire. And once again, if you want to close your eyes and just feel the love in and through these words, beautiful words. Because our culture only values what is tangible and rational, we've forgotten the greatest mystery of being human, the secret hidden within our own heart. As a civilization, we've lost touch with our natural way of being with God. The mystic is drawn to rediscover this secret, to free himself from the outer attachments and conditioning so that the way of the heart can be lived without restriction. The simple intensity of this purpose is stamped into the consciousness of the soul, and it pulls us into the fire of love, the fire that purifies and transforms us. Love's fire awakens the heart, drawing us back to what we had forgotten, our natural state of belonging to God. The secrets of the heart are infinitely precious, and they are given freely by the beloved to those who love him. They are free because the beloved is free. They are given as a gift. And yet, we have to pay. This is one of the paradoxes of the path. We pay with our devotion, with our longing, with our sacrifice and surrender. We pay with the pain of being emptied of everything that separates us from our beloved, because two cannot live in one heart. We must choose either the ego or the beloved. Through our connection with the beloved, we bring his presence into our life. We live according to his invisible ways and not our own patterns and designs. At the beginning, the path seems so intangible, so easily lost, but then slowly the path grips you. It runs through your heart like a thread of finest steel, yet is as soft as a rainbow full of eternal promise. Through this connection, this path of love, the currents of his love for us flow faster and faster, stronger and stronger. This love is the power that melts away our defenses, burns up our ego, transforms our lower nature. This love makes us so vulnerable, so naked, until all that remains is the soul's cry for God. Why is this tender, burning love so terrible? Why does it demand such a price? Because it knows no limits, will not be fenced in. This love belongs to the great beloved, not to some buying and selling of affection, which we term love. And this love wants to be known within the heart of the lover, so it has to clear away the obstacles that stand in the way. This is the painful process of purification, a longing that aches and burns day by day, week by week, year after year. His love works within our heart and psyche, even in the cells of the body, purifying, clearing away the rubbish we've accumulated. It may appear to be work upon the shadow, upon one's negativity and bad habits, but really, it is the work of love. We learn to become soft and tender, and yet as hard as tempered steel. We are emptied and transformed, and the price is everything we think precious, everything that seems to matter, except the one thing. The self. Letting love purify the self, letting love burn in our hearts so that everything unlike the presence is transformed. That's the self in the PSA. Now, our public service announcement has an A at the end, and that A stands for all. Love it all. Love it all. Everything, everybody, everything. Llewellyn von Lee says, the perfect mystic is not an ecstatic devotee lost in contemplation of oneness, nor a saintly recluse shunning all commerce with mankind, but the true saint goes in and out amongst the people and eats and sleeps with them and buys and sells in the market and marries and takes part in social intercourse and never forgets God for a single moment. Carrying the thought, the love of God into everything that we do, every single moment of our lives. This includes bringing the love that we have into the lives of others, seeing others as the same as all things, the same as the beloved. It's all. And so now I'm going to be reading from Hafiz, who talks about the God in other people. This is called Saints Bowing in the Mountains. And once again, if you wish to close your eyes, that would be fine. Do you know how beautiful you are? I think not, my dear. For as you talk of God, I see great parades with wildly colorful bands streaming from your mind and heart, carrying wonderful and secret messages to every corner of this world. I see saints bowing in the mountains hundreds of miles away to the wonder of sounds that break into the light from your most common words. Speak to me of your mother, your cousins, and your friends. Tell me of squirrels and birds you know. Awaken your legion of nightingales. Let them soar wild and free in the sky and begin to sing to God. Let's all begin to sing to God. Do you know how beautiful you are? I think not, my dear. Yet Hafiz could set you upon a stage and worship you forever. When we're seeing all presence of love as the presence of love, it doesn't include just the human family. This reading is also from Hafiz. It's called I Am So Glad. Seeing everything as God, but keep it a secret. Become like a man who is awestruck and nourished, listening to a golden nightingale sing in a beautiful foreign language while God invisibly nests upon its tongue. Hafiz, who can you tell in this world that when a dog runs up to you, wagging its ecstatic tail, you lean down and whisper in its ear, "Beloved, I'm so glad you are happy to see me. Beloved, I'm so glad, so very glad you've come." This love that is the foundation of all, it runs through all of the kingdoms, the humans, the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom, mineral kingdom, all of them. The entire universe sings with the joy of knowing at its foundation that it is love. And so our call today, our call from the heart today, is to love the presence with everything we've got, to love ourselves and be transformed by the fire of love in our heart, and to love all that is. So let's move into our time of treatment. As we focus on our heart, we might begin to notice our breath in the belly. We recognize the presence because we are feeling the essence of love. This love is the very foundation of our being. It is the presence. It is the expression of God giving itself to its creation. It is an expression of the presence being in and through all that is, that includes us. So in this moment, we celebrate that love. We celebrate our ability to feel that love. We celebrate our ability to understand that our calling is to feel that love every moment of every day. To be so fully in the presence of love that we can't tell where we end and where someone else begins. So I speak my word that the presence of love for each of us become such our home that we never want to leave it. That we recognize it in all of our situations, in all of life's circumstances, in all of our relationships. And all that we see, all that we do, love. Love. That it is in this way that we show our devotion, knowing that it is the most powerful thing we can do for the planet, is to spend time feeling the presence of love. For this vibration is what uplifts humanity. I'm so grateful to know this for each of us, that we are uplifted as we lift others. That love is a given within our heart as we love God, ourselves, and each other, and all things. And so I release it into that word, into that law of love, the law of creation itself. And so it is. Amen. So this week, as we go out from here, we love like we've never loved before, keeping love in our heart and all throughout our body temples. Namaste.